Hello, hello. Happy Friday. It's been a minute since I've done a collective read, and I wanted to do one Eval with the Dali deck. 3 of Pentacles on the bottom. Eval, I want to read on something specific for the collective today, something that's been coming up. There's a lot of constriction right now with Saturn approaching the North Node, which, for those of you who are unfamiliar, the North Node is a nodal point that talks about kind of where we're going on an evolutionary level. So the South Node is what we've mastered in this life. It's going to be easy for us, but it is what is phasing out. It's not really the healthiest for us right now. And the North Node is what we're moving towards. It'll be on the other side of that axis, and it is probably uncomfortable, but it is where we are evolving towards. And so as a collective, we are moving out of Virgo energy, the no longer useful excuse me, the no longer useful parts of the Virgo archetype, which could be perfectionism, really like attacking oneself if you don't get things perfect, being really hard on yourself, needing things to be, really perfect, over analyzing, and moving into this Piscean North Node energy, which really talks to deep spirituality, spiritual schools of thought, really mastering the dream world and our subtle realms and spirituality on all levels. And that doesn't look like, oh, we so easily walk from one towards the other. It means, depending on our own personal kind of journey, we're all going to have different experiences, and they might be, rocky experiences where we actually have to experience different contrasts in order for us to figure it, certain things out ourselves. So right now, within that narrative, we have Saturn conjunct the North Node. Saturn is the planet of restriction. It is going to constrict. It is going to limit. It asks for hunkering down and disciplining ourselves. And, it could be sacrifice, giving something up as an offering, as this, as we engage in this disciplined work. And so this energy is sitting on top of the energy of moving towards the spiritual expanse, which can feel really aggravating. It can feel really frustrating. Oh, we want to expand in all of these different ways, and yet we're being held back, we're being constricted, things are being taken away. And it can be really stressful. So I want to look into this. I specifically am curious also about our systems and thoughts around value and industry and career and job, because I just feel like I'm seeing a lot of that. We're having a difficult time in the United States economically. A lot of places are, but definitely here as well. And I think I have my beliefs about what's going on, and I just want to ask cards. I also have a new way that I'm pulling, and so we're going to try it out and see how it goes. It's going to be sort of this narrative way of looking at the situation, and then we'll just see what comes up from there. So if you're called to stay, let's just get rooted in our seats and take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. You can focus your intention about what you specifically might want to hear or see or need to know. And let's see what comes up. Okay, so I'm going to pull 10 cards. And then, this is the new thing that I'm trying. And then I'm going to just kind of mess up these cards. And then I'm going to lay them out. And then we're going to see what they say. Okay. So, we have the 9 of Cups, the Ace of Cups, the 4 of Cups, 3 cup cards, 7 of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles. So we're getting into the material and the financial. Make sure you guys can see all of that. Okay. All right. Page of Swords. The, what is that? Eight of Wands. Sorry, I have to count in this deck sometimes. Temperance, there's our first major arcana. Four of Pentacles, and the Two of Cups. Okay, so off the bat, we only have one major arcana and one court card. Everything else are minors. So that's really interesting to notice. We also have 1, 2, 3 Pentacles, 1, 2, 3 Cups. So we're talking about our emotions, we're talking about money, a material resource, and then we have 1 Wands card, 1 Sword. So really interesting. Here with the Nine of Cups, you know, we start out this story with a narrative about what was taught to us about being emotionally fulfilled, like what our parents, our grandparents, our ancestry, our families of origin taught us about what we should have, how we should feel about what we have, you know, and at what point we should feel fulfilled. And I see that we're here and we are looking at, you know, maybe we've gotten to that place and we're looking around and going, but are we fulfilled? But are we happy? I should be happy. Am I happy? This is what I was told I should be happy with. And then as we progress, we have the Ace of Cups, where there's sort of something or someone, there's a place in our life where there is actually this 10th cup, right? 9 is the completion, and then 10 is sort of the Ouroboros, we're starting a new story. So we have like 9 and then 1. So we have the beginning, and it's sort of like there's this one part of us that feels so good that we never knew we could have. Pardon the airplane. We never knew we could have. We never knew we could feel good about. This is a new thing. This is something that's been brought in, and we're like, okay, well, we have all of this stuff. We should feel good with what we have. We should be able to chill and stop. And yet there's this one thing, there's this one place, there's this one, you know, way in which I feel so fulfilled. And I don't know how that makes sense with what I've been taught and how I've been feeling and what I've been told. And so we go over here to the Four of Cups, and we have us sort of rejecting that feeling. You know, we are sort of like, it's like throwing us into this place where this thing that actually fulfills us very much, we're sort of like putting it to the side, but then we're feeling bad about it, and we're like, it actually makes us feel like we have less. Four of Cups. Okay, we might have to come back to that. So then with the Seven of Pentacles, we have confusion about how to physically plant the seeds, how to materially manifest, like it feels like it really feels like a hopelessness in terms of we actually do have everything we need to get things going. I think there's maybe an overwhelm about what it would take to actually physically plant. Like, it's kind of this sense like we already did all of this work. We invested so much time, and now we're here and we are saying, wait, like we need to plant more seeds and wait longer for our harvest. Like, it should be here by now, right? It's like these shoulds. It's a story. This is all about this narrative, which we haven't even gotten to Swords yet, but it's this emotional narrative that is bringing us to, you know, material choices that we are making. And we might have literal choice about, you know, you can plant this, this, or that. And we know that if we plant that seed, historically it would grow and it would give us a beautiful garden that we could eat from. And we just don't know now. We just don't have enough information. So we actually have to plant all of these seeds. We have to get new feedback, new material feedback. It brings us to the Five of Pentacles, another card about the material and money and resource. And we're taught that we shouldn't have everything we need. It's scarcity story. It's, you know, I don't know what's on the other side of that wall, so I'm going to stay over here. It's like getting comfortable in the scarcity rather than, you know, going to see what's on the other side of the wall. That could be better, but it could be worse as well. You have to take the leap. You have to give it a shot. This is the blockage. This is the blockage that once we master it, turns into the overcoming of the obstacle that then will shoot us back to the 7 here and give us some information about what to invest in. And then we come down to the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is armed with the beginner's mindset. The Page of Swords is, you know, the page is the baby. The page is the new, you know, baby who doesn't know anything. But there is a level of wisdom in even getting to the page as a human that's already lived in the world for a certain amount of time, which is what we're talking about. You know, there is a wisdom to becoming new again, to allowing ourselves to be in beginner's mindset again, in allowing ourselves to free up enough mind space to play and to be curious and to research new things and new ideas. There's an Ouroboros quality about the whole reading, but definitely inherently in this Page of Swords. You know, he's broken through this wall in order to even get to this beginner's mindset, because we came from this 9 where it was a completion. It was a finality. So then we get to the 8 of Wands, and once we do that, then everything starts rushing in. Knowledge and passion and resources. And, you know, that might look chaotic, grounding in, you know, as that energy starts to ground into the material, people and things and places in our lives are going to blow up. Certain things are going to have to go and be, you know, burned out of the story. There might be people that have to go. You know, it's a grounding in of these projects. You actually are starting to do work, to get to work. It's a lot of energy and it's happening very fast, and it's sort of a reconfiguration of what's going on in terms of your projects and things like that, now that you're in this new mindset. Then we get to Temperance, and we just have to basically allow everything we've put into the pot to cook. It's simmering in the cauldron. The sort of emotions we need to transmute, the way we need to learn how to rest, the way we need to learn how to pause is actually new. We came from this scarcity mindset where everything needed to be hard all the time. Now we actually get to rest. Things are happening, things are cooking. And so now we're gonna learn what it means to rest and to wait as those things cook. Then we get to the 4 of Pentacles. So we're talking about our material world again. And again, we have like another kind of grounding in of this material energy where you might not have as much material resource as before. You know, we're at the 4, we were at the 7 and even the 5 before that. And there's a lesson about when we are in these constricted moments of materiality, when we're transmuting our stories of value, we need to learn not to be in that beggar position anymore so that we're not living in scarcity. You know, it can be really tempting when you don't have much to go back to the old people that fed you before and beg. But there is resource that wants to come in. And when we're sitting centered, we can receive it rather than paying attention to what everybody else is doing and trying to go back to old ways and old habits that we know weren't even working before, right? That's why we were here. That's why we were here. Look how, you know, downtrodden these people look. And then we get to the end, which is the Two of Cups, which is beautiful. And we have this like healing elixir that is finally like, there's something that's like synthesizing in our heart space. There's something that is like coming in. There is a message that synthesizes. It's almost like everything makes sense. The people around me make sense. My life that I've built now makes sense. It's even, it matches, my insides match my outside. Before there was like this, you know, illusory sort of satisfaction, but we were over here with the one cup. It didn't make sense. Right now, everything is sort of starting to synthesize, but we're at the two. So we're at the beginning of that, but it's like this reworked, you know, it's a reworking. When you look at everything together, it's a reworking of, and it's not material on the initial, like our sense of value is not about the material world. It doesn't start there. It starts in the subtle realms of our emotions and our intuition and our own emotional sense of self-worth and our emotional sense of worth of other things, what other things are worth. The material just translates that in the physical. So it's a beautiful transmutation. And it really feels within each of our powers to control because there's only one major arcana here. All of these are very manageable and very much work that we can do. I just want to get a final message from our guides. And then we start at a complete beginner's mind, the Fool. We start at the beginning of the journey and there's increased freedom and there's increased play and you know, looking at it from where we are starting now, you might look at that person and think they're crazy. You might, you know, look at the person that you're going to become. You know, if you were to talk to future you might be like, you're crazy. How does that even make sense? But when you get there, it makes total sense and it feels right. It feels good. I just want to get an animal card to close out to kind of speak to the energy that we can embody for our highest good as we work through this transmutation. The Lamb. I mean, the Lamb is so similar to the Fool. Oh, and at the bottom we have the snake. Okay. This is Kundalini, spiritual transmutation, ultimate creative, sacral, psychic and sacral force. This is what did I talk about? The Ouroboros. The whole reading has Ouroboros energy. It's coming back to beginner's mindset in order to realign our life emotionally. And the Lamb is the perfect indicator of spring and of newness, of innocence, of softness, of letting ourselves be new. And it can feel so vulnerable, right? The Lamb is vulnerable. Baby lamb is vulnerable, but baby lamb is aligned with their emotions. You know, they don't have anything to to perform for. So this is all in alignment with like the greatest and happiest expression of yourself. There are just some walls that need to be kind of worked through and built down and, you know, broken down and built around. And wow, this way of reading is really juicy, and I really hope that this provided clarity and insight. I know it definitely spoke to me, so I'm wishing you all of the best, and I will see you soon.